Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in the first half, we talked about my mortgage. And we talked about Nancy Pelosi and the Dirty Dog Democrats. We got that in. That was cool. We kind of teased a little bit about the sex robot future that we're looking at. We also discussed NASA's virtual manufactured news. We talked about Queso-Cortez or the gibbering ninny. Which one do you like, by the way, ladies and gentlemen? Do you like Queso-Cortez or do you like the gibbering ninny? I like Queso-Cortez a lot, but I also like the gibbering ninny. So how would you like me to refer to her? Feel free to comment in the chat room or send me an email at jlebang@live.com. Let me know if you want to, you want to remain anonymous because you don't want to get people mad at you. People are so hypersensitive these days. What else did we discuss in the first half of this hour? Oh, yeah, white people from Europe caused climate change by killing 56 million people. Those awful people from Europe. You know, I was thinking, because of that latest statistic, that the abortion community might be the next in line as a culprit in climate change. I mean, they've killed 50 million babies in less time. In 50 years, they've done that. So they're well ahead of the pace of those rotten Europeans that came over to the United States or created the United States from the land, and which caused climate change. I mean, everything is bad about America, isn't it? Just it's horrible to anybody on the left. America sucks. Let's see what do we want to talk? Hey, you know what? Let's talk about this, okay? Since we're on abortions, 8 states are now allowed to kill babies right up until they're born. That's because New York, in their greatest wisdom, became the latest to legalize all forms of abortion. Because in New York, killing your baby at any age is a good thing. I have a companion story to this that might be interesting. Abortion clinics have been supplying researchers in the United States with terminated fetuses, parts of which are then fused to rodents. And what, according to the researchers, they're doing this as a bid to stamp out disease and to save millions of people. You save a few million people and you kill 50 million and use body parts from those 50 million. You legalize it in as many states as you possibly can, up and as long as until they're born, because hey, who cares, The older that fetus is, when it becomes a full-grown baby and it's born, the older it is, the more you can, I'm sure, research when those on those body parts that by those researchers. And another companion story, I found this one interesting. Maybe you've heard of this one. Man wants to sue his parents for giving birth to him without his consent. He is part of a anti-natalist movement that says having children is morally wrong. See, you are totally selfish, ladies and gentlemen, for wanting to have kids. You're not thinking of those children and what kind of life you're giving them. Ralph the Sniveler because I'm not going to give you his real name. He's 27 because he's a man of the world and he knows so much about life, and he's so, empathetic and caring for all the non-born children. Has compared having children to kidnapping and slavery. Nice. On his Facebook page, he sends anti-natalist posts to hundreds. This is a mainstream manufactured news story, or I should say a mainstream news story. But he sends posts to hundreds of his followers. He intends to sue his parents despite having a great relationship with them. Okay, nice kid there. He believes it was wrong to be put in an unwilling childhood and to be wrought through the rigmaroles of life and all the, awful things that happen in life and the pleasures and all that. His anti-natalist movement is gaining traction because people don't want to be born anymore. In India, well, that makes a little more sense, right? As young people resist social pressures to have children. That's what it is they don't want to have children, so they're making up a reason not to have children, and that way they don't have to feel guilty about not having children. He says, my life has been amazing, ladies and gentlemen, so he's grateful for his amazing life, but I don't see why I should put another life through the rigmarole of school and finding a career. Okay. Especially when they didn't ask to exist. They didn't ask for it, ladies and gentlemen. So it's your fault that you gave birth. And you should feel guilty for having children, ladies and gentlemen. Samuel runs a Facebook page called... I'm not even going to tell you because I don't even want to go there. I almost did tell you, but no, whatever. This guy's a nut job. Which has hundreds of followers, on which he regularly posts anti-natalist material. See, it's got me flustered a little bit. See, why is the mainstream news covering someone with only hundreds of followers from a less than first world country on top of it? So he's a nobody inside a nobody country. And the mainstream manufactured news decided to give this guy and his views and ideas, his agenda, some light. I have hundreds of followers. CNN, are you listening? Fox News, are you listening? Is anybody in the mainstream? Anybody in the mainstream listening? I've got hundreds of followers. I've got something I'd like to tell people to a larger audience. I'd love for the exposure to be given to me. So feel free to contact me at jlebang@live.com and say, hey, we'd like to have you a story about you. Can we write a story about you? And I'll give you my story. Man, if you're covering people with hundreds of followers, I've got that, buddy. Oh, I've got that covered and some. I've got more than hundreds. With my Facebook and my Twitter and my YouTube channels. I don't even have all the others, the Instagrams and all that. I don't have all that. If I had those, I'd have even more. But it's too much work. But with all those, I've got thousands of followers. Man, I got more than this guy. Come on, help me out. Come, let me talk about my story and what I believe. I would love it. Don't you think, ladies and gentlemen, that I should get equal time as Mr. Ralph the Sniveler here, 27 years old, millennial from India? I mean, he's got hundreds of followers. And all he cares about is that babies not be born because they're born into slavery. Not the fact that the slavery is, they're born and they could have a great life if their parents, did the right things. Maybe his parents didn't do the right things. But he says he had a great relationship with his parents. So you never know. Maybe just people aren't grateful for the things that they do have, and they just see all the negativity in life, which, it's easy to do. I understand it. It can't be that hopeful in India. It's tough here in the U.S., but in India, I can see why you wouldn't want to have children and why you wouldn't want to be alive. I mean, that country's kind of dirty from all the video and pictures that I've seen. It's not the most first world country I've ever seen. I mean, there are some U.S. cities that are kind of like India as far as, cleanliness is concerned. San Francisco, which tons of people are moving out of that city. Tons of people are moving out of that city because they allow bums to poop on the sidewalk. Yeah, Michael Savage talked about that. He was in a restaurant eating and some guy dropped his drawers there and, he dropped a deuce as well right there in front of the window. How nice is that? So that's more stuff. So we could also, because, since we're on the anti-baby and anti-human conversation at the moment, why don't we talk about something we teased earlier, and that's robot love. Some people are saying robot love is a foregone conclusion, and I don't doubt it, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a lot of reasons why making love to a robot would probably
You wanted me?
Be more appealing than dealing with somebody of the opposite sex in this modern age.
What I want now is gentleness.
And it was one of the big stories in 2018. I've been covering it for, 4 or 5 years, almost since the beginning of this broadcast.
From you, Data, you are fully functional, aren't you?
And at least the mainstream media has come around,
of course, but
to it because it's inevitable.
How fully?
And the arrival of multiple sex robots on the market is definitely getting the attention of people. The sex industry in itself is worth a whopping $30 billion. We've got that many perverts in the country, ladies and gentlemen.
in every way, of course.
Yep. I mean, it's hard to...
I'm programmed in multiple techniques.
It's hard to be critical of somebody who can't find especially a guy, because it's a little different between men and women, because a man can't always find someone who wants to put out for him, who wants to be intimate with him. So, and that's why the robot industry is catering towards those type of men right now. But they're going to definitely have male robots for women, and it's a little different. In my belief, that's just me. Any woman can find somebody who wants to be with them in that way. It's the most politically correct way I could say it without offending anybody.
A broad variety of pleasuring.
But not every guy can find somebody to be intimate in that way. So, the reasons women would have the sex robots versus why the men would have sex robots, I believe in my heart of hearts, that, it's my opinion, that they would be completely different reasons. I think women would do it a lot of times for fantasy purposes, and guys would need it because at least a majority of men, not, we don't want to generalize, would do it because they couldn't find somebody to be with. We've got to take our next time out, ladies and gentlemen, as the hour is just rolling on by. Stay tuned. More on the flip side of this.
You jewel, that's exactly what I hoped.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Because the John LeBang Show will be right back.
After this.
That's guaranteed. Yes.
At Absolute Skin and Body Care, they only use the best laser equipment in the industry, so that you receive the best results possible. They'll explain all the procedures in detail and answer all of your questions. Absolute Skin and Body Care. If you're looking for skin rejuvenation, laser lipo, or laser hair removal, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Their office phone numbers are 248-305-3000. That's 248-305-3000. Absolute Skin and Body Care.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
And it's so much fun.
All right, welcome.